What's up, everyone? Welcome back. And if you like the last one, you're definitely going to like this one. Let's get into it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Today I learned that scientists successfully created the world's first human-monkey hybrid in a lab in China. The terrifying breakthrough came in 2021 after researchers from the USA and Spain traveled to China in order to get around bans which prohibit this kind of research in their own countries. They said that they wanted to use animals to create organs for human life-saving transplants, and that creating the hybrid was an important step. The team revealed that they had successfully injected human stem cells into monkey embryos, and some survived up to 20 days before having to be terminated for ethical concerns. Just one of the concerns that has led to this kind of research being restricted in most countries is that apparently it's very difficult to restrict human cell growth to just one organ of interest. And if the stem cells escape and create human neurons in the brain of an animal, the ethical concerns would be extreme. The research team said that the results were very promising and pledged to continue their experiments using primates. So the question is, do you think that one day these experiments will be successful or not?
Definitely will. They're already doing that right now.
Scientists have now created what they call Human 2.0. This is what they say the perfect human body would look like. And yes, Woman 2.0 would have a baby pouch. A group of anatomists wanted to see what a human body would look like if a person evolved for peak functionality. So they took inspiration from other species that do things much better than humans. The first thing Human 2.0 would have is the strong lower back of a chimpanzee. The legs would change to be like the shock-absorbing legs of an emu. And of course, not as many toenails to cut on those cute little toesies. The ears would be more like cat ears. Her supersized eyes would help with vision in day and night. And the most important part, to ensure a pain-free childbirth, would be the pouch like a kangaroo.
How would they know what we're going to look like in the future? I just want to know. Who's telling them this?
This would also be the cozy place where the baby is fed. So my question is, if this is the perfect Woman 2.0, what would the perfect man 2.0 look like? Bruh. Scientists have successfully created the world's first human-monkey hybrid at a lab in China. Researchers in the US and Spain traveled to China in order to bypass the laws which prohibit this kind of research in their own countries. They wanted to use animals to create organs for humans as life-saving transplants. The researchers revealed they successfully injected human cells into monkey embryos. Some survived up to 20 days before having to be terminated for ethical concern. Just one of the concerns that have led to this kind of research being restricted in most countries is that it's very difficult to restrict human cell growth to just one organ of interest. If the stem cells escape and create human neurons in the brain of an animal, the ethical concerns would be extreme. Do you think that scientists should keep monkeying around with this concept?
Comment down below. What do you think about that one?
Here are the most unsettling crossbreeding experiments from hell. Have you heard of any disturbing experiments? Let us know below. Number 10. Human Z. Since the turn of the 20th century, scientists have been known to attempt some pretty insane experiments. Since the Middle Ages, the concept of a human-ape hybrid had been theorized, and tales of human-ape hybrids have been told for centuries. And the case for the possibility of human-ape hybridization isn't an unfounded one. Humans and chimpanzees share 99% of coding DNA sequences, while chimpanzees and bonobos share 99.6% and are capable of hybridization. But humans and chimpanzees do not share compatible chromosomes, with chimps having 24 and humans having 23. Many chromosomes do match, but not enough to allow for hybridization. That didn't prevent people from trying, however. The first clear scientific attempt to hybridize humans and chimps came in the early 1910s, when Soviet scientist Ilya Ivanov became fascinated with the concept and spent a decade devising and experimenting to make it work. His first trials involving 3 female chimpanzees ended in failure as none of them became pregnant, though it should be noted that just 3 attempts is not a conclusive result. Many hybrids are heavily dependent on the sex of the parents, and so Ilya tried again and went out in search of human host subjects who would be suitable and, most importantly, willing to participate in his experiment. However, his male orangutan passed, and so the experiment was a bust. There have also been tales of a chimp in pre-Mao China who was pregnant with a hybrid, but the experiment was destroyed in the Cultural Revolution. Number 9. Mice with human brain cells. Very recently, scientists made a massive advancement in neurological studies. For some time, scientists have been able to revert adult skin cells into stem cells, which can be grown into any human organ. These smaller artificially grown organs are called organoids and have been used by medical research for years now. Recently, however, scientists instead implanted human brain organoids into rats and had a startling discovery. After some time allowing the cells to innervate themselves themselves, the scientists were able to determine that the human brain cells were actually responding to what the rat was experiencing and doing. Using microfilament carbon nanotubes
Heard
for
about this one
conduction,
before.
they determined the electrical activity of the human organoid was actually connected to what the rat was experiencing. This could have a multitude of consequences and uses for neurological study and medicine. The first step will allow the study of more complex brain disorders and diseases, and potentially allow for the in-depth study of the most complicated machine ever found, the human brain. Number 8. Genetically modified super salmon. Salmon farming has been a practice for over 40 years and is responsible for most of the salmon that you'll see in the grocery store. Atlantic salmon take 2 years to grow to full market size. That means 2 years
Wow, don't tell me this. I love salmon, guys. I love salmon.
taking up space in a salmon farm.
It's crazy.
However, with the addition of the OPAFP-GHC2 gene into the Atlantic salmon genome, the salmon no longer have a restriction on growth periods and can grow all year round instead of just in the spring and summer. This modification requires a growth hormone regulating gene from the Chinook salmon and a promoter sequence from the oceanic pout. Together, these essentially allow the fish to eat and grow year round. This takes the growth time down from a fixed 2 years with specific spawning times to 18 months with significantly more spawning times available. This promises to greatly increase yield and revenue for commercial fisheries, but it is not without its risks. There is a massive risk that any of these genetically enhanced fish could escape into the wild and wreak havoc on the ecosystem, as they are predicted to rapidly outcompete wild natural salmon. To prevent this, Aqua Advantage, the company that developed these GM salmon, is required to only use land-based fisheries as opposed to the traditional ocean-based fisheries. As well, they only farm sterile female fish, with male ones only being used in secure egg-producing facilities. Still, any breach could be disastrous. Number 7. Venomous cabbage. Imagine, if you will, a scorpion, highly dangerous and full of lethal venom. Now make it a cabbage instead, and you've basically got the idea. These cabbages have been genetically engineered to have a very specific scorpion poison present in their cells. This allows the plant to have essentially a built-in self-defense system. Any insect that bites into the cabbage is likely to get a fatal dose of scorpion venom. But wait, these are meant for human consumption. Won't the scorpion venom hurt us too? Well, no. Most biological venoms are structured in a very specific way to take advantage of a very specific weakness in the target's biology. Insects and humans share very, very, very few commonalities when it comes to weaknesses to venoms. The scorpion venom gene, which was spliced into the cabbage, has absolutely no effect on mammals but is highly lethal to insects. The confusion arises from the little-known fact that scorpion venom is not one compound, but is in fact dozens or sometimes hundreds of compounds mixed in a lethal cocktail. Scientists simply isolated the insecticidal gene and spliced it into the cabbage. This helps to seriously limit the amount of pesticides which need to be used to maintain crop health, which has seriously positive effects for both.
Hold up. We got a cabbage scorpion running around here? What's going on?
The environment and for human consumers. Where this went terribly wrong was in calling it venomous scorpion cabbage, which has perhaps understandably caused an uproar amongst fear-mongering groups which don't try and actually understand the science. Number 6. Pig-grown limbs. The latest advancements in stem cell research have allowed scientists to stop using human fetal tissue or test tube-grown embryos for stem cells. It's been discovered that the lining of pig bladders and intestines actually contains stem cells. This biological matter can be isolated, dried, and ground up to create something called an extracellular matrix. This stem cell powder has actually been used to encourage digit reattachment in cases where people have lost their fingers. There is a hope that this new source of stem cells could be used to eventually fully regenerate damaged or missing limbs and organs. Some believe the next direction would be to start using these pig stem cells along with human stem cells to allow organ starters to be implanted in pigs and allow for organs to be grown for transplant that are genetically identical to the host and thus won't be rejected. However, there are concerns surrounding the ethics of using live animals as hosts to grow limbs and organs in, and the potential ecological or ethical issues that may arise from from profit-driven human-pig limb farming. Number 5. Cyber beetles. While this may sound like a science fiction future, we are already living through it. In 2009, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency of the US military, revealed that they had already successfully turned rhinoceros beetles into computer chip-controlled biological UAVs. The chips were implanted into the brains and had a receiver and transmitter to communicate to a computer, which would tell the beetle to fly up, down, left, right, forwards, or backwards. At the time, the project was
about Not Your Normal Kids Show, Episode 2. Not Your Normal Kids Show is a series of videos posted to TikTok user BVKey's account. And as you may have already gathered from the title, it's anything but normal. Episode 2 starts off with our main character of the show telling us it's time to go do our laundry. But the lights are off in the basement. And when she turns them on, this happens.
So dark in here. Let's turn on the light. Turn on the light. I want the dark. You can't see.
Guys, don't let your kids watch this. Comment down below if you've seen this. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.
All done. That wasn't so hard now, was it?
After this, our character realizes how late it's gotten and says it's time to go say goodbye to the sun. And of course, since this is not your normal kid show, the sun is freaky too. But after it sets completely, we see a message glitch onto the screen. After this, the video goes on like normal, and I think it's clear to us that our main character here isn't the one telling us to stop watching. So who is? Let me know if I should go over episode 3 next.
Earthquake in Japan right here.
Two suns are being spotted and recorded in the sky all over the world by...
You guys hear about China's 2 suns? Super.
dozens, if not hundreds of people. And I'm going to show you a couple of clips. And after I do, I'll tell you my opinion, Booshkies. If you've seen this phenomena, you're absolutely not tripping. A 2-sun video was reported in China 12 years ago. And like I said, these are being seen by a lot of people all over the world. So I don't know if it's 2 suns, a sun and a planet, an optical illusion, or a giant ball of cheese. But all these people are seeing and recording something. What do you think, Booshkies? Let me know. Shabadoo.
China's second
Wow.
artificial sun.
We're having 2 suns in the
That
sky.
makes 3 suns. Simulation confirmed.
Oh, it's blowing. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Can you do it? I know. There go our new planet. No, because all the time. That was crazy, Kyle.